Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Fantasy Knuckleballers. I'm Justin. I'm here with Rich and Aaron. We have a lot in store for you today. A lot has been happening around the league lately. So I think we're going to start off today with talking about some of the recent transactions that have happened in the last week or two, notably some really big moves in Trevor Bauer to the Dodgers. This was kind of a curveball, as everybody was expecting him to sign with the Mets. And at the last minute, he signs with the Dodgers, which to me, if I was a batter of NL West, I would be scared right now with the Padres and the Dodgers rotation. I would not want to be a Diamondbacks or a Rockies hitter. Let's start off with that. I don't know if you guys want to kick us off with talking about your thoughts on that.
Sure. I'm a big Trevor Bauer fan. I think he gets a bum rap from a lot of fans. They mentioned that he's only had maybe 1.5 good years, and that's all BS. Trevor Bauer has been a stud for the last 3 years, minus 11 game stretch in 2019 when he was traded from to the Reds. But Bauer has been an ace for that whole time, and even before then, he was a good middle-of-the-road rotation guy. Going to the Dodgers, he has all the tools he could ask for. He has the mechanics. He has pitchers, Kershaw, Buehler, and David Price that can there to mentor and help him along. He has all they have a great analytics department. It's everything that he wants and everything he needs to succeed. So this is a perfect union for the two of them, the Dodgers and Bauer. So I only expect great things from this relationship.
You know, let's be honest. He got paid. That was the number one thing he wanted. He got $45 million in year one with an opt-out, $40 million in year two with an opt-out. His agent did a great job. He got exactly what he wanted, was to be the highest paid player in the game, which I think he can throw away the third year of the contract. He's not going to take that unless he gets hurt. The best team in baseball got better. I don't know how you can say it. They have, in my opinion, 3 number ones with Kershaw, Bauer, and Buehler. And then they have a bunch of number twos if you want to consider David Price and Julio Reyes as number twos, and then great young pitching. So great move. I'm still kind of uncertain what the Dodgers are going to do at third base, but great move for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and when you look at that rotation, you're talking about a rotation that has 3 Cy Young winners on there with Kershaw, now Bauer, and David Price. So we've already discussed it. It's an absolutely sick rotation. You're right. The best team got better. To Aaron's point, I saw a lot of hate out there saying Bauer didn't deserve it. He's overpaid, and that's nonsense. I mean, the guy is probably the smartest pitcher in baseball. He does his homework. Even though he might not have the best stuff, he knows how to approach each batter. He's a guy that, as a Reds fan, he was awesome to watch last year. I loved having the guy on my team. He made baseball fun again for the Reds, and it sucked to see him go. And I wish we would have the chance to see him in person, at GABP, because I would have been scheduling my life around every Trevor Bauer start at GABP. But that didn't happen. But like you said, it's a fantastic move for the Dodgers, and they have a great bullpen. Obviously, it's going to be really hard for him to replicate last year, but I don't expect much of a drop off of any, because the guy is just he's so smart. He knows how to pitch. So
the only negative I see with this signing is for Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I know many of us were expecting one of them to slide into a starting rotation spot this year. That looks like it's not going to happen. Those guys look like they're going to be relegated to the bullpen for at least the next 2 years.
I think there's a possibility that the Dodgers could actually trade one of those pitchers off, probably David Price if I had to guess, but that's still you can't really bank on it right now. If they're able to get rid of a pitcher like David Price or Urias or something like that, then they become in play. But right now, you can't really do that. I do think that the Dodgers plan on shuttling pitchers back and forth from starters to the DL or vice versa, the bullpen. So that's always a possibility, especially for the Dodgers. But it does definitely drop Mays and Gonsolin's value.
Yeah, it does drop their value, but if you look at that bullpen right now, if you add Dustin May in that bullpen on top of Gonsolin and Corey Nebel and Joe Kelly and Blake Trinan and Kenley Jansen, it's sick. It is a sick freaking bullpen in rotation. I have no other words to describe it.
The next big deal over the last week was Arenado to the Cardinals. What do you think about that, Rich?
I like it. I mean, if you look at the Cardinals, they needed a big bat. It adds that big bat. I mean, they're replacing Matt Carpenters, who they had scheduled to play third base. Now they have Nolan Arenado. I mean, if you look at their OBP from last year at third base, I think it's right around 700. It was like 24th in the league. Now they're replacing it with one of the league's best third basemen. Also, it adds to their defense. He's Golden Glove winner, Platinum Glove winner. He's one of the best third basemen in baseball. There will be he will have a decrease in his stats, and I've heard about him dropping to around pick 45, 47, even round 5. So I'm kind of curious to see how he drops in the rankings for people, but it's a great baseball move. I think it puts the Cardinals as the number 1 team in the NL Central. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I agree with you on it. It's a good baseball move for the Cardinals. At first I wasn't sure what to think, and then I saw that the Rockies ate a quarter of his contract. The Cardinals are getting an upgrade at third base. At this point, like, who cares about the money if they're willing to spend it? They're getting an upgrade in a position they've pretty much owned for a while now, or a division. But I do think that from a fantasy perspective, he does take a pretty big hit here. Just looking at his numbers away from Coors Field, they're not good. They're above average, but not by far. So I do think his fantasy value is definitely decreased. But it's, as far as a baseball move for the Cardinals, it was a great move. Aaron, what do you think about it?
I agree too. I know when this first happened, you and I had some side conversations about Arenado. You were talking about how he's not very good outside of Colorado. And yeah, his numbers does dip quite a bit. His power is about the same, whether it's in Coors or outside of Coors, but his batting average goes from like a 350 to like a mid, like a 270, something like that. And that's significant. But I started taking a closer look at how he fared against some of the other NL Central opponents, and he has hit above 300 in every ballpark in the NL Central. So that's Milwaukee, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Chicago, Pittsburgh. He has a really good stats in all of those venues. So this move shouldn't drop his value that much at all, in my opinion.
You make a great point. When you look at the NL Central, there's not a lot of great pitching. When you look at the Brewers, he's going to be going against. You look at the Cubs, who he's going to be going against, and then you look at the Pirates, who have a AAA rotation. Instead of facing that San Diego pitching staff or that Dodgers pitching staff, he gets to face the Pirates pitching staff. He gets to face the Cubs pitching staff. He gets to face the Brewers pitching staff. I mean, that's good.
I know we've talked about this a couple times, but in all these trades and all these transactions over the last few weeks, it's even increasing this disparity between the NL Central and the NL East and West. The NL East doesn't have the pitching that the NL West has, but it's not far off. Washington has 3 studs in the pitching rotation. The Mets have several studs. Atlanta has their whole minor league system full of high prospect pitchers, and they've bettered themselves pitching in the offseason. So, like I said, the NL Central, if you're a hitter, is where to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with the power numbers. I mean, they're significantly different on the road, but one thing with Arenado is the one thing that's pretty consistent is his average. It is dropping the road, but it's the one thing that holds most consistent. One of those we're gonna have to wait and find out. We're gonna have to wait to show you that I'm right and you're wrong.
We'll see.
You take him in the first round, buddy.
I want it. Rich, this is your guy, your team. So
My guy, I'm a homer. I wanted to see Marcell Ozuna back to the Braves. This is probably why I'm not a GM because while I hate the long-term 5, 6, 7-year contracts, I would have signed Ozuna back in October for 3 years, $75 million, and I would have been wrong. The Braves got him for 4 years, $64 million. I think that's a bargain. I mean, you look at who are the 2 players the Reds signed for the exact same contract last year?
Moustakas and Castellanos.
Exactly. Who would you rather have right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. That was a big topic of discussion last year. There were a bunch of Reds fans who thought Castellanos was the better option, and I was hoping that the Reds would sign Ozuna, and they didn't. And it's not a knock against Castellanos, but Ozuna's the better player by far. I mean, they're both a liability defensively, but Ozuna's a better all around batter, has more speed, same power. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm a big fan, and I don't know if you all remember, but 2 years ago in the league that we're in together, and just so the listeners know, it's an NL only league, and it's we each have 5 keepers every year. But I got Ozuna. I think it was early second round. I could not believe he was still there, and I was ecstatic. I was like, "This is crazy. How do y'all let Ozuna fall to me at this point?" But I agree with you. It's a good move for the Braves. I'm surprised he didn't get a look from more AL teams where they could use him as a DH. Because he is a little bit of a liability defensively. But from a fantasy perspective, I think you can expect the same thing that you saw last year.
Agreed. He's a good clubhouse guy. If you ever see him on the field, I mean, he's always encouraging other players. You can tell he really gets along with his teammates. Plus, the Braves needed that power back, and he gives them that big power from the right side.
I've never really been a huge Ozuna fan, and this is why, because of his consistency. From year to year, he's all over the map. He's either hitting above 300 or he's hitting 240 or 260, 280, and it's a big rubber band with him. Goes from one extreme to another. He's maintained a certain level of power the entire career, which is good. But last year he did put it all together and had a magnificent season. Maybe it was the team around him. Atlanta has a lot of good talent surrounding him, and maybe that's what brought it all together for him. I'm hopeful that being back in Atlanta continues that success, and I would probably be drafting him based on last year's numbers than some of the inconsistencies we've seen over the last few years. So I like it. If he went anywhere else, I probably wouldn't be as high on him. But now that he's in Atlanta, I'm hoping that magic that he had last year keeps going.
I foresee a year of 100-plus RBIs, and I'm never going to shy away from a guy because of a fluctuating average. I mean, there's plenty of studies out there that show that batting average is the least predictable stat among hitters year to year. It's going to be the most variant. So, I mean, hitters are going to have years where their averages fluctuate. But, I like Ozuna. It's a great move for the Braves.
His averages wasn't the only thing that was up and down. Like his on base percentage, his home runs. Like I said, 23 home runs in 2018. Like that's not a great number for playing the entire year. Yeah, it's a good fit for him in Atlanta, and if he went anywhere else, it wouldn't be the same for me.
You know, Aaron, I like how you're coming at me about my guy Ozuna. You know, the 249 batting average, I think he was disappointed in that. One of the things he said coming into the year last year was saying he wanted to that he was not a 249 hitter. He considered himself a 280, 290 hitter. I don't think he's going to hit over 300 again, but I think he's good. 30-plus bombs and the average. So I'll like Ozuna. I think he's a great fit for the team. I really see the Braves adding another hitter as well. I don't think they're through.
You don't think they're through?
No, I still think they have to replace Adam Duvall's bat.
I'm kind of personally on the bandwagon and hoping that they're play.
So, Rich, you're not expecting Waters or Pace to fill a role in the bigs this year?
Yeah, I do think Christian Pace is going to be their center fielder from day one, but I'm not sure on Waters. There's a lot of different information that comes out of Braves country about Waters. One, that he's maybe a little bit arrogant, a little bit of a know-it-all, but he's put great minor league numbers. I would love to see him come up and play, but I'm not sure coming out of the gate that he's going to be out there in the starting right field or left field.
Gotcha.
All right.